welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenoff coming to you live from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and the thing that used to be Twitter. It's Friday, so Dan Schaefer will be here, creator of the Recombobulation Area, also Civic Media's political editor. Many things to talk about with Mr.
Indeed.
Schaefer.
Yes, indeed.
Certainly lots of Wisconsin things in the news, and uniforms, I understand, also one thing we're going to touch upon.
We are?
Aren't we?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we might.
Do we need to?
There's a lot of buzz about that.
Is there need to be? Like, there's things going on in the world.
For audience.
And I'm a Brewers fan.
I know. You are an outlier, I think.
I just don't care. Like, it looks weird, but I've moved on. Apparently not, but I haven't moved on from the not moving on. That's the thing.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on with Dan Schaefer. He will be here after the 9:30 news. In hour number 2 for our audio sorbet segment today. Very excited. We did this last year. Lori Leishman is a booster for the Waukesha South Band.
The Black Shirt Band.
The Black Shirt Band, exactly. And so they're having their cookie walk. Their annual cookie walk is happening in Waukesha tomorrow. And this is an opportunity for you to get your hands on some wonderful baked treats.
Yes.
And at the same time, support the Waukesha South Band. As we know, with public schools having budget issues, a lot of the things that tend to get cut first are extracurriculars.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And a lot of times
the theater
arts.
programs.
The
It's the arts programs and certainly the band. And band boosters have been around for a long time, but it's a really important part of the experience.
Yeah, I agree. I was in the band in high school. I was in the arts in high school. Like, those things are important. And when the football team gets a brand new playing field that costs a lot of money, and then they're like, we're cutting theater or cutting your budget.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's help support the Waukesha South Band, the Black Shirts. The Black Shirts.
Yes.
Laura Leishman and a couple of students also who are in the band are going to be joining us for Audio Sorbet today after the 10:30 news. We'll wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the Baby Seal Walks Into a Bar edition. That's pretty much everything you need to know there.
Yep.
That's
Well, have a good day, folks.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you on Monday. No, that's coming up at the very end of the show. Stick around for that. It is the end of our first week.
Yes.
Of the statewide multi-state text to win adult gift list contest. Man, my ability
you are
to
done.
speak.
You are in senioritis mode, and not senior citizen, like senior in high school. You are out. You've packed your locker.
And I'm done for the year.
Yep.
Right?
Wow.
I'm already on vacation, apparently. Yes, our grown-up gift list multi-state text to win contest is underway every day. We are playing for $200 in cash and your chance at 3 grand prizes, one of 3 grand prizes, including a brand new snowblower, a stainless steel cookware set, or a portable air conditioner. But you must have the Civic Media app in order to take part. So open up your phone.
Gotcha.
Open up the Civic Media app.
Not you, Dan Schaefer.
No, can't do that. Pick your favorite station. For example, WAUK. That would be a good choice. And then text in the word
What?
flake.
There it is.
Flake. Flake is the word until 10 o'clock. You want to text that in via the Civic Media app. That is the keyword for this hour. You have to enter the word flake, Flake, by 10 o'clock. And then you're in the running again for that $200 in cash and one of those 3 great grand prizes. Tom Hartman will have the next word for you in the 11 o'clock hour and then in the 1 o'clock hour. But right now, the word is flake. Might be a comment on our show. You think flaky?
Oh, my God.
Just
Whatever.
throwing it out there.
Whatever.
Flake. Flake is the word. Text in the word flake. You have until 10 o'clock, and good luck.
All right.
Wanted to start off with some, sit down, everybody, some good news. What? Yes, there is some actual good news. We'll take it where we can find it.
Okay.
Right? Wisconsin Public Radio, Beatrice Lawrence has the byline, $1 billion in federal funds aims to deliver broadband to every last location in Wisconsin.
That's very important.
They've been waiting for this in parts of the state for a long time.
Yeah.
State Broadband and Digital Equity Director says this is a huge deal. Evers' administration announcing this week Wisconsin got more than $1 billion in federal money courtesy of the bipartisan infrastructure law signed under President Biden.
And not voted on by Tom Tiffany, who was running for governor.
Or any of the Republicans in Wisconsin.
No.
They love to go stand next to the results.
But they don't vote for them.
But they don't vote for that.
Correct.
But they'll go stand by the Blotnick Bridge. They'll go stand by whatever project this money is helping to fund that they did not vote for.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is a good thing. $1 billion in federal money for broadband internet projects across the state. This from the bipartisan infrastructure bill signed by President Biden in 2021. Wisconsin reworked its proposals for the money this year after the Trump administration ordered states to follow new rules to apply, which we did.
Mm-hmm.
And that included being technology neutral when considering project bids.
I've never heard that phrase in my life. I heard carbon neutral.
Technology neutral.
Isn't
I'm not even sure what that means.
Go ahead.
About 11% of Wisconsin still doesn't have access to high-speed internet. And as we know, I don't know how you get through a workday without the internet.
I mean,
without reliable internet. I mean, what we do is so based on access to information. You can't even apply for jobs anymore if you don't have the internet.
Not modern. No, honestly, I'm trying to think. You can walk into like a fast food joint, turn in an application, but nowadays, you need access to the internet. Technology neutral means that regulations or standards focus on the performance or outcome to be achieved rather than mandating a specific technology or method to get there. Okay. But also, and people might say, well, people out in the rural area probably don't need as much. No, farmers need it all the time.
Absolutely.
People who are farming need the internet. They need to their equipment, whether it's a combine, thrasher, whatever, what they're doing if they have automatic milkers, those things are all hooked up to the internet. They're all running programs. They all need access to the rural area. Needs the same technology, the same access, whether we're talking the internet or hospitals or schools. They need it just as much as we do. But everyone needs it. And this has been a problem for a very long time, getting the rural areas, all areas, the same access that the city centers do. And usually they're the last to get it.
They are. And they've been complaining about it, and justifiably so.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, we saw it during COVID, during the lockdowns. Good heavens, we had kids sitting outside of fast food restaurants to access their internet.
Yeah.
So they could do their homework. 2025 report by the governor's task force on broadband access, again, said about 11% of Wisconsin still doesn't have high-speed internet. Areas in northern, central, and southwestern Wisconsin are particularly underserved. If you would like to join us on this, 855-752-4842. Going back to that technology thing, Director Alyssa Kenny at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin says the awards will go to a mix of internet service providers because there are spots throughout the state where not all the same technology apparently is applicable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what that was about.
Okay.
These entities, they say, will provide internet in different ways. 76% fiber, 10% fixed wireless, and 14% satellite. So not every technology can get to every location, which makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But it again, this is about getting people as much access as possible. And this is a good thing. Thank you, President Biden.
855-752-4842. Cindy from Appleton joining us on the line. Good morning, Cindy. What do you want to say about this?
Well, first of all, is something wrong with your 96.5 station? Because I can't get anything from that at all today.
Oh, we were not aware, so we'll
check on it now.
We'll check on it now, yeah.
Okay. And then as far as the internet, I was going to ask about satellites, but apparently I guess they can only service, I would think they could service just about any area, but I don't know. What do I know?
Well, it says, again, we'll put this article in the show notes, Cindy, if you want to take a look at it. They say that, again, sometimes, depending upon where you are, it requires different ways of accessing internet.
Mm-hmm.
If people have internet in their homes, we found that they will stay to 2 to 3 weeks longer in that area, and that means that they'll stay in the community and they will shop locally and they will keep their money within the community.
It's about making communities attractive to people, for people to move to. And
we keep talking about how Wisconsin's population is not growing. We are not attracting young families moving here.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to offer them basic internet.
There's a variety of things. I know people who don't want to move back either to or back to Wisconsin, and a lot of it has to do with the current legislature and
and certainly the weather.
I mean, that not so much. I mean, like, yeah, if you live in California, maybe not, but I'm just talking about people from like Illinois or Michigan, and there are certain barriers, and one of them is that there's not a lot of access up north to certain things. So, yeah, I think that's something that should be a bigger conversation in Madison. Is if you want to make it more attractive for people, then how do you do that? What do you do? What partnerships do you build with communities, businesses to say, we want to grow this so people bring their families here and bring their dollars.
And they'll stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Comment on the live stream. Ms. Artie T says the Dems better use Tiffany's name and his no vote on the broadband issue during the governor's race. Yeah. Be nice to see that come up.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly think that counts. Again, there's pictures of Tom Tiffany standing next to the Blotnick Bridge after that Tammy Baldwin helped bring that $1 billion back to help fix that bridge. Tom Tiffany didn't vote for it.
Nope.
But he was there for the photo op.
Yes, he was.
They typically are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Works out nicely.
Okay, well, that was a long silence.
I'm continuing to look at this article. In Oneida County, the unique needs of the area make fiber the gold standard as far as getting internet.
Yeah.
Fixed wireless for a county like mine is something that's not preferred because we're such a heavy tourist area. In the summer months, our population explodes. 50% of Oneida County is second homes. So if you have fixed wireless, the service isn't going to be enough.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to depend upon every county's specific needs and their different requirements. But still, this is a move forward.
Yep. The funding will be there, and that's a good thing, and that's good news.
It is good news. When we return, Dan Bongino,
oh, God,
part of the Trump administration, used to be a paid podcaster. He made a very interesting admission that we're going to share with you. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us, call or text, or leave a comment if you're watching on live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up in a little bit after the 9:30 news, Civic Media political editor and the creator of the multi-award-winning Recombobulation Area, Dan Schaefer, is going to join us. Going to talk about Mandela Barnes.
We're going to talk about Mandela Barnes. We're going to talk about the congressional maps discussion, including a very interesting non-quote quote given by a Wisconsin State Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
And, we'll probably be talking about the Tennessee election and what that means for Wisconsin in 2026 and some other fun stuff, including possibly private ponds. We'll see.
Yeah, private. I would really love to talk about that. Dan Schaefer coming up in just a little bit. And don't forget, you still have until 10 o'clock to grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app. You have to use the app and text in the word FLAKE. F-L-A-K-E. Flake is this hour's keyword for our multi-state text to win grown-up gift list contest. We have $200 up for grabs every day. And this is going to go through all of next week, along with 3 different grand prizes. So every entry will get you in the running for that $200 and one of those 3 grand prizes. But you have to enter using the Civic Media app. So text in the word FLAKE, F-L-A-K-E. You have until 10 o'clock. Tom Hartman will have a new keyword for you coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. We don't have a lot of time to spend on this, but I think it's important. The FBI's number 2 under Kash Patel is Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino, of course, was a podcaster.
Yes, a very, very right-wing podcaster.
Very much so.
Very on board with releasing all of the Epstein files.
At that time, yes.
One of his chief goals on his show.
Right. And we had no problem making all kinds of claims when he was a podcaster. This actually came up. We're talking about the pipe bomber, the alleged pipe bomber who now has been arrested after the bombs that were left outside of the DNC and the RNC headquarters on January 6th of 2021. Dan Bongino talking to Sean Hannity last night. Calvin, can we play that clip, please?
I don't know if you remember this. This is before you became the deputy FBI director. You put a post on X right after this happened. And you said there's a massive cover-up because the person that planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it is because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or an inside job. You said that, long before you were even thought of as deputy FBI director.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I said to you this investigation's just begun. We are pretty comfortable. We have our guy. I think again, legal process starts to surface and information, facts start to come out. The public's going to be very comfortable with the investigation that was conducted under Director Patel and his leadership. He's been great on this. But I don't want to, listen, I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now.
Wait, stop. Stop.
Don't understand why he even said that. Like, he could have stopped it. We're doing an investigation.
He actually sort of responded to the question, which is shocking.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, we found a person. There's going to be an investigation, and we'll have more for you. Thank you very much. That's it. Like, I don't even understand the point. Like, yeah, he was paid to do a podcast. He was paid for his opinion.
He was paid to lie.
Well, I mean, that's not.
He was paid to lie.
Okay.
He was paid to put forth certain things in order to make people crazy and gin things up. To me, that's what he admitted to last night.
Well, what I
is that he was paid to lie about it.
I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I don't hear. What I hear is that I was a paid podcaster, which means that, like, whether he was lying or not, he knew what was going to get people upset, so he was going to say that thing. Whether it was a lie or truth, I mean, Dan Bongino, I don't expect him to understand the difference because he's going to do whatever makes him the money and gets him the attention and got him that job, which, by the way, one of the things he said on his show, his former show, and before this all kicked off the past few months, the Epstein files are the most important thing. We got to release some Epstein files. And now he's one of the people saying,
there's nothing to see there. There's nothing there.
Guys,
no.
Hey, look, there's a pipe bomb suspect over there. We'll talk about that instead.
Shiny thing.
I mean, that brings the question is like whether he was paid to lie or or whether he was using the money, using an opinion to make money, this is not the kind of person you want to have in positions of authority, because they're not going to have an allegiance and they're not going to want to tell the truth. They're going to want to say whatever makes you either happy or the angriest.
Exactly.
So like for me, like I hear what you're hearing, but I hear something else as well. Doesn't make it good at all, because he should not have that job.
No, he shouldn't, and neither should Cash Patel.
No, absolutely not.
And there are, speaking of old Cash, there are some things coming up. Of course, we talked about how Cash is using government planes to go visit his girlfriend.
Yes.
So he can go see her perform. She's a country music star. Now there are reports, well, whatever. Now there are reports coming out that not only does she get special Secret Service protection, but they are now taking her drunk girlfriends home after a night out. She is having her security detail give her drunk girlfriends rides home. Our tax dollars at work, everybody. It's all good.
Do you know what I think? I'm going to propose this. After this current administration, we take a 4-year break from a president and we just put into like a huge investigation for 4 years. And then we fix everything. We start it over again, because I said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it. Whomever becomes president next needs 3 terms, because the next 4, they have to fix.
It's just going to be cleanup.
Everything.
It's just going to be cleanup. News is coming up next, and then when we come back on the other side, Dan Schaefer will be here. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network. Don't go away.
There ain't no way It's an interesting push, though.
They're taking away all of our other protections. What's one more?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm discombobulated.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Sweet Cal B coming to you live from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. It is Friday, so that means we're going to do a little recombobulating. Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Jane. Wonderful to be here with you and Mr. Greg Bach on Matenaer On Air, as it always is, to recombobulate on the week that was. And what a week it was.
What a week.
Another discombobulating week, Jane. We've had no normal weeks.
No.
I've been doing this Friday segment with you for quite a while now. I don't feel like I've ever come in and it's just been like, well, slow news week.
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Let's just kick stuff around.
No discombobulating news to manage here. Yeah.
No, it's pretty consistently discombobulating.
Always is.
So let's start off with Mandela Barnes. I guess this is not a big surprise that he decided to throw his hat into the ring to run for governor.
Yeah, the worst kept secret in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Pretty
politics,
much.
It seemed like.
Pretty much. And
Yep.
Marquette did that early poll.
Marquette did the early poll.
Like, what, 2 months ago?
Well, so they didn't include Mandela in their poll.
No, that was a different
There
poll.
was a different poll
Oh,
that did
that's the one I
include
was
him.
thinking of,
Yeah,
right.
so Marquette has this policy where they don't, if somebody has not yet officially declared, they are not asking the question.
Fair
of them.
enough.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And so like the other poll, there was another one, I forget the firm that did it or whatever, but they had Mandela at like 16% and most of the other potential candidates or currently running candidates in the single digits.
Right.
And so so that is kind of where things were going in ahead of this. But I think, people are wondering, does Mandela Barnes walk into this race as the front runner? And I would say no. And I'd say he's in the top tier of candidates, right? I think because he ran a statewide race and has a lot of name recognition and is well liked by many people in the state of Wisconsin, many Democrats in the state of Wisconsin, he's going to be in that top tier. But I don't think he's like the automatic front runner in this race.
I think this time around, he's got some very strong competition. I think Sarah Rodriguez is very strong. I think Kelda Royce is very strong. Don't forget about Francesca Hong.
Yeah.
She's kind of the underdog right now, but she has a lot of support.
She does.
And she's out there hitting doors and doing the work.
And I think David Crowley comes with an experience that really paints a picture of someone who can run a county, can possibly run a state. Now, granted, there's a lot of problems in the county that they need to deal with, but I think that I don't know about any of you, and Dan, you have your ear more to the ground on this, but since that poll and since I may or may not run, I have not heard anybody saying, yes, it has been very much okay. And so therefore that's, the whole front runner thing. Absolutely. Because there has not been a tremendous push from the Democratic side to say, oh, well, you know what, guys, Mandela's the guy. No one has said that. And there has been more than one article, one of them by you, saying that there is baggage that comes with a Mandela Barnes campaign. And we talked about it when it announced earlier this week. We said it's just it doesn't make me go, all right, let's do this. It's another candidate. He'll make his claim, but I don't see any big push and or big momentum for him, even from the get-go.
Well, and I think some of the issues that he had when he ran against Ron Johnson, those haven't gone away.
Right.
I mean, his record hasn't changed. His background hasn't changed. Some of the issues that he was a little snaky on about, what was it? He unpaid property taxes or
I mean, there were some little things. The property tax thing is actually a kind of a non-issue. If it's not
things that
Republicans will go after.
Yes,
him for.
and if it's not explained well, that's what they're going to take and they're going to run with it.
Yes.
And I guess my point is, again, those things have not gone away. He is still the same person. He still brings the same things to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I did see a lot of conservatives on Twitter and whatnot kind of excited that Mandela was running.
Oh, I bet.
And so I think they're, I think they are happy with the result, right, of the race from a few years ago. And one of the points that I made when I did my piece, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago now, is called Barnes 22 Revisited. So it was looking at a Barnes 2026 candidacy through the prism of how things went in 2022, which I characterize that campaign of his as both overrated and underrated at the same time. And I think there were elements of his campaign that I really did not like. There were some specific ads, one that I called out, him unpacking the groceries, talking about the attacks against him. One of the worst ads in recent political memory. I absolutely hated it. But it's also like, look, this was a Republican advantage midterm when there was an unpopular Democratic president in the White House. That tends to mean the Republican in a 50-50 state like Wisconsin is going to have the advantage. And Mandela lost by 28,000 votes. It was the closest Senate race in Wisconsin in 100 years at that point. I think the Baldwin-Hovde race may have even been a little bit closer. But at the same time, it's, he lost and people are worried about that. And so it's just like, well, my thought is like, if he's going to run it back with the same type of campaign that he ran in 2022, that's not what I'm looking for.
No.
I think that is, the times have changed. It's a different race from a U.S. Senate race versus a gubernatorial race. You're talking about federal issues. You're talking about what's happening in Congress versus what's happening in Wisconsin, in the state legislature, on the ground with what people are facing in their day-to-day lives. And so I think that's a different dynamic too. So my question from where you guys are sitting here, do you feel like his campaign launch this week and the initial rollout, does it feel like running it back from the same type of campaign as 2022, or do you feel like there is a different element to it right now?
I haven't heard anything different come out of him. And granted, I'm not a political consultant. I don't help do ads. The one thing I know personally I am so sick of are all of these generalized statements that every candidate says. Things are too expensive and we need them to be cheaper. This is wrong and it should be better. Well, that's all well and good, and we can all agree on these very general blanket statements. Yay, us. What are you going to do to make that happen? None of them offer specifics, and I am tired of these generalized, you bad, me good, vote
the
me.
kind of empty platitude,
right?
Type, yeah.
Get specific. How are you going to make these things happen?
I know that Democrats walk a finer line with this because Democrats tend to like to educate more in things, and you can't really do that, especially in a rollout of a campaign. But definitely for me, I echo what Jane says, in as much as when I heard the rollout, when I heard the audio of his announcement, it sounded like Tom Tiffany's too. They're talking about the exact same thing. So what are you doing to make me excited for your... I mean, when Sarah Rodriguez announced, she put together one of the coolest videos. Like, it was just energy. There was energy there. And Francesca Hong, I mean, she comes with power. And Kelda Royce is going to come with, like...
She's got the experience.
Yeah.
She's got, she's done legislating.
Right.
And Dan, I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. I feel like I know David Crowley has a lot going on, but I feel like he's been very quiet on the campaign trail right now. I mean, understood, we're very far away from the primaries, but I don't see as much from him. But also, he, of all the candidates, has the one that says, like, I can run a county, I can run a state. That to me is his advantage. With Mandela, I think it was a matter, and please tell me if I'm wrong, was there a lot of stir before that poll? Was it the poll itself that gave him the idea to run, or was it always kind of in the background that we just didn't hear?
No, I mean, he was expressing interest even before that poll. And I had been hearing the noise that he was starting to get more interested as soon as Evers dropped out. I think before it was just, I think a lot of Democrats were just like, if Evers is running again, we're going to support him.
Sure.
And having that posture both publicly and behind the scenes too. So I do think there is that element of it. To your point on Crowley, you're right. His campaign has been kind of quiet lately. Yeah. I think Kelda Roy's campaign has been kind of quiet lately too. It's still,
it's early
days. It's very early.
And
I do expect this campaign to be competitive all the way through to August. So I think you have to factor that in. For Crowley, you mentioned the kind of leadership element of his campaign. I think he is going to have an opportunity to set himself apart with that executive experience.
Exactly.
He's the only candidate in the mix right now that has run has been the top dog at the most populous county in the state.
Yeah.
Nobody else can really compare with that kind of experience in the race just yet. And I also think too that comes with it, like they just passed the budget in the county a couple weeks ago, so I think he was probably focused on his actual job. And the flood relief stuff, like it's been a busy, the crisis with the Milwaukee County transit system. It's been a busy year to be the leader to be the Milwaukee County executive. So I think perhaps we might be seeing more from him in his campaign going forward. But I want to bring up a poll I ran this week
on the recombobulation area.
Well, on my Twitter page, really a non-scientific Twitter poll. As I make very clear, this is not an actual poll. This is just a poll of just like the super online sickos like myself who are who are following these things way too early. So the question that I posed is, with the 2026 governor's race in the news, let's try out another unscientific, totally nonsense Twitter poll. Question: in the Democratic Party, who would be your choice for governor? And I listed Mandela Barnes, David Crowley, Sarah Rodriguez, and other. Did you guys see the reaction to this?
I didn't see the results.
Did I vote?
Did you vote?
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did.
Yeah.
The overwhelming response in the comments, in particular in this, was that I should have included Francesca Hong in the poll.
Wow.
Everybody, and I know she has a very enthusiastic online supporter base. Perhaps more of an online supporter base than some other candidates in the race. But a lot of people are just like, where's Fran? I want to vote for Francesca Hong. I put this on Instagram too. All of the replies was like, where's Fran? I'm voting Hong. That's other fill-in answer, Hong. So I think, to me, this says it's time to start thinking of her candidacy in a little bit different way too. Yeah. And I talked about her as the wild card in the race. I talked about in my initial kind of like thinking about it. She's a state representative in one of the bluest districts in the state, and making a jump from that and being, a declared Democratic Socialist to being on the map in a statewide race, that's a big jump. That's a very different race than anything she's ever run before. I tend to, in these types of things, I tend to give a little bit more credence to people who have run and won very competitive, difficult elections, right? So I think, but I also think that she has the online enthusiasm for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
And I do think it's time to start thinking of her candidacy in a little bit different sense, because in the early going, I was like, you know what? She's going to outwork everyone. She's going to make everyone work harder. Yeah. She absolutely is doing that. And I don't know if everybody else in the campaign has really upped their game.
Is ready
met
for that
type of energy that she's been bringing out of the gate here.
If you're just listening or joining us on Matenaer On Air, Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor and also the creator of the recombobulation area. We're talking about Mandela Barnes entering the gubernatorial race here in Wisconsin. Jenny on the live stream says, honestly, I don't want either party endorsing a candidate this soon. Primaries are an essential component of democracy. Let the people choose.
And I think that's what's going to happen. They don't. I mean, especially the Dems are not going to, unless Josh Schoman drops out, which his Twitter feed, there's no chance right now. But honestly, I think the important thing right now is doing what Fran's doing. Is I see her on Twitter all the time. No one else even posting as much as her, and that will make a difference over time.
We're going to keep recombobulating with Dan Schaefer. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. By the way, the word is flake. Text in the word flake, F-L-A-K-E. You have until 10 o'clock. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Won't somebody recombobulate me?
morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, our resident young person, Calvin, on the board, coming to you from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Good morning, live stream. On Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. It is Friday.
It is.
And
nothing gets past you.
I know. First Friday of our multi-state text to win grown-up gift list contest.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All those words right in a row.
You did it.
Up for grabs every day. $200 in cash and one of 3 fabulous grand prizes. But you have to enter, you have to text in the word via the Civic Media app. This hour's keyword is flake. Flake. Flake is the word. Tim from Waukesha, it only took you 3 times. We had slake, we had slate, but I see you got it finally. You got flake. Flake. Flake is the word. You have until 10 o'clock to text that in via the Civic Media app to be in the running for those prizes. Tom Hartman will have your next chance coming up in the 11 o'clock hour and then the 1 o'clock hour that will continue all next week through all next week. So join us for that. But right now, the word to text in is flake. Flake.
Put your phone down.
Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor, creator of the Recombobulation Area. We were talking about that very, very, very unofficial poll that you did.
That's right.
About the gubernatorial race. The one thing we didn't include was the responses.
Yeah,
the final tallies.
I mentioned all of the names. I didn't tell you the numbers that came through on this, which is kind of part of an important part of a poll. So of that poll, again, I'll just reset it here. The question that I asked on Twitter, again, in an unscientific, totally nonsense poll, in the Democratic primary, who would be your choice for governor? Mandela Barnes got 15%. David Crowley, 21%. Sarah Rodriguez, 24%. And other, 40%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Others very popular.
Others
right now.
very popular.
Very popular.
And as I said before, most of the comments about like who I should have included in the poll said that I should have included State Representative Francesca Hong, our friend and yours.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things to make clear too is that one thing that isn't discussed a lot is in that initial poll that had Mandela Barnes at 16% with all the others in single digits. A majority of the people were either picking other or not, like a not right now. Like this is too early.
Way too soon.
So like we are at a place where people are still finding out about these candidates and deciding who they want. And Mandela's been in for less than a week, so people might not even know at this point either. So,
and I don't think the field is set yet either.
No,
I don't think we're done hearing from more candidates. Too.
You would think more Dems are going to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one Democrat I think is very likely to jump in the race. I learned a little bit about this this week. Joel Brennan, who was the Secretary of the Department of Administration in Tony Evers' first term, he was previously the CEO of Discovery World, and he is currently the president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee.
Wow.
Pretty accomplished guy. He is very likely to join the race, source told me this week. I heard that he was out filming a campaign announcement video. As you know, and all of these campaign announcement videos, a quick aside on this, everybody's on the move now in these campaign announcement videos.
You can't just
stand
there.
in front of anything. You've got to be on the move. Sarah Rodriguez was on the move. Mandela Barnes was on the move. Francesca. Everybody's walking and talking in all of these announcement videos.
It's very West Wing. It's very West Wing.
It's very West Wing. I know. You know, Zoran Mamdani certainly popularized that a lot in his campaign. Everybody's got to be walking. You can't just sit there in a campaign announcement. You can't just sit behind the desk and say, "Hey, I'm running for governor." You got to be on the move.
But see, I think we can also credit Eric Hovde in sitting in the frozen lake. That obviously just sitting did not help him go very far. So the movement, maybe if he'd been walking back and forth, in the lake, that would have helped him a little bit more.
A swimming video.
That might have been something too.
Well, and I think I'm waiting then for the first candidate to do either a run or like a Matrix slow motion run while they're announcing too. Now it's just about creativity because CGI and AI is everywhere. You're limited only by your imagination. So let's see what we can get next. Maybe he works at this. He works at Discovery World. He did.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is amazing. So you can integrate that as well. I mean, I see limitless possibilities for campaign videos. Just tell me what you're actually going to do.
That would be nice. Little specifics.
Greg Bach can be your consultant on your campaign video.
No, do it again.
It's going to be interesting to see. We have a long way to go.
Yeah.
We have a long way to go. The Dems did. We lost the beer vendor already.
Yeah, he endorsed David Crowley.
He did.
And the Republicans lost somebody too. Like the couple people have dropped out. Remember Bill Berrien?
Yeah,
you
that's
don't,
right.
do you? I remember though, Dan, you saying this a few months ago. You feel like this is going to be there are going to be a lot of candidates, and this right now we've got a lot. But it could be even more depending on who wants to put their. And I feel like this gentleman, what's his name again?
Joel Brennan.
A non-politician putting his name in might inspire other non-politicians because right now it's very politician heavy, and you got a business person or someone who is politician adjacent that may make someone go, well, if he's going to do it, then I certainly can do it. And so we'll see. I mean, we got a long way to go.
We do.
And I think it's going to be competitive all the way until August.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is going to be everybody drops out and endorses
and makes
Mandela
it
Barnes,
easy.
like it was in 2022.
Probably
I don't
not.
think that's going to happen.
Andrew from Maine texting and listening on WAUK. New conspiracy theory. Jane is retiring next week so she can announce December 15th her candidacy for Wisconsin governor for the Common Sense Party.
There we go.
Andrew,
There
you
it
busted
is.
me. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene and I are going to do a podcast.
It's gonna be the loudest
that would be
podcast.
appointment listening for me. It would post in my podcast app, and I would hit play in seconds.
I'm working on it. Just
All right.
give me a little time. News is coming up next. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the vast, statewide, countrywide. Yep, you can pick us up around the globe on the Civic Media Radio Network. Don't go away. morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenoff coming to you live from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. It's Friday, so Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the multi-award-winning Recombobulation Area. Let's talk a little bit about redistricting and a quote that does not exist. This seems problematic, although I would imagine there's going to be some excuse.
You would think.
Right? The Wisconsin Examiner has this. Henry Regman has the byline, in redistricting ruling, Annette Ziegler misquotes U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
This goes back to the maps in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so last week, this really absolutely got buried before the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but the Wisconsin Supreme Court announced that they were taking a major step towards addressing the state's congressional map. There are two cases that are advancing in Wisconsin about the congressional maps. There's one advanced by the Elias Law Group, one by Law Forward, and a number of partners. But in this, I don't know, recent Supreme Court decision, Annette Ziegler, the former Chief Justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, one of the court's three conservative members, she used a fake quote from the U.S. Supreme Court in what she had written, and she said something. There was, I'm just going to read from this story from Slate. Ziegler quoted a recent Supreme Court decision, Moore versus Harper, for the proposition that state courts' role in congressional districting is, quote, exceedingly limited. There's just one problem. Moore, the case Moore, said no such thing. That quotation appears nowhere in the ruling. To the contrary, Moore held the opposite, concluding that state courts can play a legitimate, meaningful role in congressional redistricting.
Now, I am not a judge. I am not a lawyer. I am only lawyer adjacent. That seems to be a crime to me, especially for a state Supreme Court justice knowingly making up a quote in her decision.
Or just getting it completely wrong. So what happened next was, and I'll just keep reading from this Slate piece because it's a good one. It's not clear how Ziegler's misquotation wound up in the published opinion of a Wisconsin Supreme Court justice. By Wednesday morning, again, this was initially on Tuesday, so the following day. By Wednesday morning, the court had withdrawn the opinion from its website and replaced it with a partial correction without publicly acknowledging the mistake. Yet, this new version doubled down on the first draft's underlying error. It continues to assert that the Supreme Court of the United States severely restricted state courts' oversight of congressional districting, which is not the case. Basically, what happened a few years ago is that they said this should go back to state courts. So she misquoted it and replaced it with something and was wrong on both counts.
And while she's just doubling down, they're doubling down on it now.
Yeah. And so this is just seems just like a sign of the overall sloppiness that the right-wing legal establishment in the state has taken with its approach to redistricting all over the place. Like, a couple years ago when there was the big decision that the Supreme Court made to strike down the maps, well, it was for the non-contiguity or like some of these detailed specifics that they got wrong. And so there are continued challenges to the congressional maps because they did things that they got wrong. They invented this least change thing out of nowhere. That was wrong. They have struck that down. So there's all sorts of legal sloppiness happening on the right-wing side all over the place with this. So I think you have to recognize that is a distinct aspect of this. This is not what's happening in California or Virginia or some of these other states that are saying we need to combat what's happening in Texas or whatever else by redistricting our congressional maps. That's not what's happening. What's happening in Wisconsin is that there are legitimate legal challenges to problematic maps that are advancing in a normal legal process way. And there are 2 of them happening. I'm working on a story about the Law Forward Advanced Challenge. That's the legal group based in Madison that propped up a couple of years ago. They're the ones that got the maps overturned a couple of years ago on the state level. Their congressional challenge is not about partisan gerrymandering.
Mm-hmm.
Their challenge is an anti-competitive gerrymandering challenge, saying that these congressional maps were drawn to favor incumbents and reduce competitiveness. And so making it so it's easier for those members of Congress to get reelected. Yeah. And we have, such competitive politics in Wisconsin in so many ways. We are the 50-50 state. We are right on the edge of everything, but we don't really have that many competitive congressional seats. I think the third district is obviously the most competitive. Ron Kind represented that for a long time. Derek Van Orden's been there. I think he's beatable under the current maps. But I also think the maps at large have legal problems underlying them in very basic senses. Well, so I think that's the point to consider here. This is not a congressional partisan gerrymandering challenge. There are problems with this when it comes to meeting the standards of the state constitution.
Well, and now my big takeaway is, unfortunately, that the Republicans are not above making things up in order to get their own way. That's not how things are supposed to work. This is not good. This is not good. Mm-hmm. And it's a good reminder also that Wisconsin's redistricting issues go back a long way.
Yes.
This goes back a long way. Not anything to do with what they did in Texas, or you mentioned California and these other efforts. And the one thing that I think is an important distinction between what happened in Texas and California, in Texas, Governor Abbott essentially instituted new maps.
Right.
And said, this is what we're doing.
Right.
In California, Gavin Newsom brought it to the voters and said, here's what we want to do. Do you want to do this or not?
Yeah.
So the voters, actually had a choice about it and actually had a voice about it, which is how it's supposed to work.
In California, you're right. They gave voice to the people, whereas Greg Abbott just allowed the Supreme Court to come in and say, yeah, you can do that. It's fine.
Do it. Go ahead.
The thing, too, is that the problem is that in both aspects of maps, whether we're talking about congressional maps or we're talking about the electoral maps that were fixed in the state legislature, is that both measures are being done to exercise the most, independent, bipartisan, making it just fair.
Yeah.
The problem is that no matter what happens, is that certain individuals, I see at Derek Van Orden, no matter how fair you're trying to make it, he is going to, and a lot of other ones are going to be like, this is not fair. You're trying to upend, you know what I mean? In a pursuit of fairness, in a pursuit of being an actual map that represents the voice of the people, you're going to have people kicking up dust and making a bigger noise out of saying how unfair it is, even though it isn't. This whole congressional map thing, as you said, is trying to favor it's not trying to favor incumbents who already enjoy an anywhere between 85 to 93% reelection rate, but in an attempt to be a fairer option or a fairer design, we're going to have to also deal with people saying incorrect things all the time, and unfortunately, that goes all the way up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. Republicans always seem to do this when the kind of right wing legal apparatus and all of that. They just play this legal Calvin ball, where they just make up their own rules and do whatever they want and think that everybody's going to go abide by that. Well, it's just you can't do that and then have these sloppy mistakes like this. Well, you lose your credibility.
But it's working on the Supreme Court.
Ugh.
It's working with the Supreme Court, who just decided, again, this snaky shadow docket stuff.
My goodness.
Where they don't even have to justify their decisions. So this maps, the Supreme Court said that now Texas can go ahead and institute these maps, even though it is still working its way through the court system.
Right.
Yeah.
And they could have put a stop to this, but again, without any of them having to come right out and explain why they're going to do this, they just gave him carte blanche to do it.
And I think going back to what you just said, Dan, about credibility, they've proven that if you make a mistake or say something wrong, that there will be almost no follow-up by anybody, by the fact that some of the media is afraid to ask questions, or for the fact that it gets buried in the press because a Wisconsin State Supreme Court justice misquoting a U.S. Supreme Court decision isn't a sexy headline, and we move on. So she doesn't, or they don't have to worry about credibility. And they never do. That's not a thing. There's no consequences. There's no recourse. There's no accountability because we don't have time, and the people who are in charge to ask questions don't seem to be asking.
Well, there's one avenue that I think there has been some accountability brought in this, and that's in form of the voters electing different people to the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Yes.
And I think if you're thinking big picture about just like, okay, how do we which ways should there be a check on Trump? Even if there are Trump voters, I think the check that some people are seeing, and as it has played out in these Wisconsin Supreme Court races, is a legal one. Is that he is just fudging the limits of what he can do legally. So maybe people might like the Trump agenda or whatever it might be, but want him to do it within the laws of the Constitution. And so maybe this is just me theorizing here, but I think that is why some people in Wisconsin who might be Trump voters are also voting for Janet Protasiewicz and Susan Crawford in some of these elections.
Because they have gotten elected without some bipartisan support. There's just no way.
Yeah. Right.
There's just no way.
And I think you make a very, very valid point. I think there are still Trump voters out there who say things of like, well, you have to do this thing within the law, of course.
Right.
Now, we see every day in the headlines, the of course is not even a factor, but I think you're right. There are people out there who voted for the president who still think there are guardrails which need to be applied and adhered to. The problem is that with them being taken away, we have to rely on judges and various, elected officials trying to enforce their own versions of the guardrails to protect the people of Wisconsin, which is why it's very important to vote in 2026.
Vote in every election.
Oh, yeah, vote in every election.
Every single one. I know it's not sexy. I don't care.
I think voting's sexy.
I don't
Hey, are you a
care.
voter? What's up, sexy?
It's hot. It is.
Yeah.
Voting is hot, baby.
Yeah.
Everybody who's anybody wants to vote.
Yeah.
Susan from Kenosha listening on WA texting in. If you look back, Annette Ziegler was elected by the right wing. I believe she's part of the Heritage Foundation, the same party that elected Trump.
Yeah.
And Brett from Brown Deer, I've always wondered why the laws couldn't force the maps to follow county lines whenever possible.
There are so many complications when it comes to all of these different things with the maps. And the congressional maps, people have been talking about like, oh, the 3rd district in western Wisconsin or the 1st district. Like, if you really zoom out, there's a bunch of problems with our state's congressional maps. And one of them, and as me, who a graduate of UW Oshkosh, I pay a lot of attention to the Fox Valley when it comes to statewide politics. The Fox Valley is cut right in half on the congressional map. Oshkosh and Appleton are in different districts. Oshkosh is in Grothman's district and Appleton's in Tony Weed's district.
Makes perfect sense.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. The Fox
not-
Valley should be all part of one thing.
One thing.
The Fox Valley and Green Bay, I think, should be one district instead of splitting it down the middle.
I think people who live there would probably agree with you.
There you go.
We're going to keep recombobulating with Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor, on the other side, so stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
I did 2 tweets.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, our one, our only Calzone on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up after the 10:30 news for today's audio survey, we're talking Cookie Walk. Lori Leishman is a booster for the Waukesha South Band, and they're having a fundraiser tomorrow in Waukesha. So we're going to talk about the Cookie Walk and how you can help support the Waukesha South Band. We have a couple students who are in the band. Layla and Marcella are going to be joining us as well. Very much looking forward to that. Then we'll wrap up the show, as we always do, with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it is the Baby Seal Walks into a Bar edition. Actually, that's all you need to know. That's it.
I'm interested.
That's the whole thing right there. So stay tuned for that. We are recombobulating with Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor and creator of the Recombobulation Area. There was an election in Texas this week.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, that one too. Yeah. In Tennessee, the Democrat did not win, but she lost by less than she could have.
Another Democratic overperformance in a special election.
In a really red district.
In a really red district. It was a Trump plus 22 district, and she brought the margin down to single digits and lost by 9. And so I think, there was a map that was put out and said, hey, if we make this shift, if we map this shift onto every congressional district, if there's, I think it was like a 12 or 13 point shift in every district, Democrats are going to pick up like 50 seats or something like that, right? And in Wisconsin, it showed like which ones it would be. The local takeaway that I have from this is that regardless of what happens with the maps, I think it's kind of unlikely that anything changes in Wisconsin's maps before the 2026 election. So even under the current maps, I think Derek Van Orden's in real trouble.
Do you?
I do. I think if, he only won by less than 3%. Against Rebecca Cook
last time around.
Last time when there was like kind of a red wave, pink wave, however you want to characterize it. But I think Derek Van Orden's in trouble here, and I think he is, was the most vulnerable Republican in Wisconsin. I still don't really know who's going to be the candidate against Brian Stile in the 1st congressional district. That's kind of next up. Stile tends to overperform his district numbers to the top of the ticket anyway.
He's a Paul Ryan clone.
But he's been successful.
Yeah.
Like he's been more successful than the rest of the Republicans and members of Congress. Frankly, I think Democrats should be happy that he's not running for governor because I think he is a good fundraiser and would be a good candidate statewide.
That's a really good point. Yep.
But I think my main takeaway from the Tennessee special election and all of these other special elections that have happened is that the candidates who are in these kind of races with, maybe the margin was less than 5, right, in 2024, all of those candidates are going to be in trouble because I think the political winds are shifting very much in favor of Democrats, and now Democrats could screw this up.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. There's plenty of time for them to blow it.
It's your game to lose.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But I think these results spell real trouble for Van Orden.
My concern is the money. Because ultimately, so much of it comes down to cash and funding these candidates. And it just seems to me like the DNC and whoever is controlling the dollars has not been serious about strongly backing a candidate in that district.
You're very right about that. In 2022, when Van Orden flipped the district after Ron Kind retired, the DCCC, the Democratic Campaign Committee, spent $0 supporting Brad Pfaff's challenge in that race.
And Brad Pfaff was a good candidate.
And he was a solid candidate. Like he worked with, he had worked with Ron Kind for a long time and had a lot of connections to the district. He's now a state senator. Like he's in there, he's done well. They gave him no support, and he probably overperformed expectations then. They supported Rebecca Cook somewhat last time, but I think this is going to be one of the most important congressional races in the country. I think they need to treat it as such. And whether it's Rebecca Cook or Emily, I'm blanking on her last name. Berg. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Apologies. But I think Rebecca Cook is a really good candidate. So I think if she emerges from the primary, I think she could very well win this race.
I think that the election this year with Elon Musk spending so much money on a judge's race shows that, yes, money does make a difference. But if you have a candidate who brings energy, then they can talk to the people and do the work that maybe the money is not there can do. I mean, yes, I'm not going to say that money doesn't matter. It does. But I think in this moment right now where people are frustrated, and as you said, Dan, some of these candidates are in trouble, especially people like Derek Van Orden, who are nothing but a mouth, nothing but screaming and yelling. There's not a lot of policy. There's not a lot to present to his district. He's got a shiny machine behind him with his commercials and his TV spots. But if you have someone who's going to fire up not just the base, but the people who are frustrated, I think that can give the money a possible, it's not David versus Goliath.
Well, for me, the biggest question is if he would lose, can we actually get him out of the office? Because I think he'll hang on kicking and screaming. It'll be, it was rigged.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that you're going to see a lot more screaming and yelling in 2026 of people saying all of this is rigged. All of this is a joke. We're not leaving. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
You think there could be some Republican shenanigans after an election result?
I know it
what
seems
could
so
lead you to believe that?
Shenanigans.
So outside the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Where would I ever get that idea?
Now I just hear a podcast called Shedanigans where you just talk about all political.
Oh, Shedanigans.
Or a restaurant.
We got
the recombobulation area is over. Shedanigans
is underway.
now.
There you go. You heard the announcement right here.
We're talking politics, and do you want some jalapeno poppers?
Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor, creator of the recombobulation area. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Be well.
News is next. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. Shedanigans on the Civic Media Radio Network. You got something.
Done the actual cookie walk before. Right. And this cookies. Mm-hmm. Truly. And then we play music. There we go. Stay tuned. So cold. Only you and Jay.
Good morning, Layla and Marcella. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
All right, I can hear you. We come back from break in just over 3 minutes.
All right.
And is Lori Lushman going to be joining us?
I'm probably not. I mean,
Okay.
She's not here as of right now.
Okay.
Oh, that was like very, very loud. No. I need some of those hand warmers. Freezing. Is this like kind of our end time or like? This is a jazz band, yeah. All right, because I know I have to like get to work. I have to like move around myself or whatever. Because I was like, oh shoot. Do you like paper? Yeah. She always makes it so specific. She's like jazz TOO. She says, I don't understand that. It's like two. Like, I mean, sure, because like this doesn't make any sense. Jazz TOO, like okay.
I sure do like those Christmas cookies.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Calby on the board, coming to you from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we're going to wrap up the show, as we always do, with a segment called This Shouldn't Be a Thing. We have an update from yesterday's Tisbet.
Yeah, it's
But the swallowing of the Fabergé egg.
yes.
There's an update.
Stay tuned, folks.
Yes.
It's exactly where you think it's going.
Pretty much. And also today's Tisbet is Baby Seal Walks Into a Bar edition. So stay tuned for that. Right now, though, this is the segment that we call Audio Sorbet, where we talk about lighter things and get away from the news. And we're very, very excited to be joined by two students from Waukesha South High School. Layla and Marcella are here. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Morning. Yeah, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. We wanted to talk about the Cookie Walk. This is happening tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. in the Waukesha South Cafeteria, the annual Cookie Walk Holiday Bake Sale, and this is benefiting the Waukesha South Band. So you are both in band, I assume, girls?
We
cannot hear you.
We cannot hear you. We're having technical difficulties, folks.
We did a little check before we went on the air, and it was fine. I'm not quite sure. No, now I heard
I can hear one of you.
Oh, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
I cannot hear you.
So, Marcella, tell us about the Cookie Walk.
Well, tell us about, first of all, what instruments that you play in the band.
Yes. All right. Okay. So I'm in only jazz band and I play the piano and I just recently joined this year. And so far it's been pretty fun for me. Yeah.
But it's really important because we talk a lot about the budgets for schools, and budgets are also always tough for schools, and a lot of things end up getting cut, and things that get cut tend to include extracurricular activities, and band is one of those things. And that's why you have this cookie walk to help support the band, so you guys can have uniforms and go to parades and do all those things, because all of those things cost money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right. I'm just gonna try one thing.
I see. So here's
Can you
a
hear
microphone.
me now?
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We'll just pass this back and forth.
Okay.
Perfect.
What instrument do you play?
So I'm in the marching band. I play the clarinet, and in the jazz band, I play the saxophone.
Oh, very
wow,
cool.
Indeed. Nice.
Very,
Very nice.
cool. What what does this do for you? Why should people care that band exists or jazz band exists? Why should people care?
Well, for me, I think band. I'm a very structured, logical person. I'm a math person, but music for me really helps me to break out of that and be more creative. And that's why I love music. I love learning new instruments.
That's really a skill. Being able to play more than one instrument, that's
absolutely,
huge. That's
absolutely.
absolutely huge. What about for you? What does playing an instrument and being part of the jazz band, what does that do for you as a student? Does that make you a better student?
I think it does make you a better student because it gives you something that you can, you can go to class and you can have a community and you can play music, and it's a nice thing for me. I know, because you were talking about you're kind of more of a math whatever person. It gives you an escape, but it's almost for me it's it's really where I feel I most thrive is when I'm doing things, when I'm playing music, when I'm a part of that. It's a really nice thing. And you can share that with others, and that's what the cookie walk is for. So it's great.
Yeah, so let's talk about the cookie walk. What is involved? How do people get involved? We spoke to Lori last year, and she made it very clear that you should get in line early because it's very popular. What do people need to know to participate in this year's cookie walk?
Yeah, so the cookie walk runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. But last year we sold out by noon at the latest. So you really want to get there early. All of our black shirt families and the community donate all the cookies. We love having everyone donate. It's really nice of them to do so.
Yeah.
But you should really get there early to have the best selection of cookies available.
Is there one person's cookies who always do better than everybody else's cookies? I'm just curious, because if I would bring cookies to your cookie walk, I would be like the one where there's 500 cookies left over at the end.
Boy, way to make that about yourself and be mean at the same time, Jane. Great job.
Everybody wants Flo's cookies,
Because she doesn't put coconut on it. Coconut's the devil. It's disgusting.
I'll just say there's some lemon cookies every year that those are my favorite every year.
Go for the lemon
Oh,
cookies.
gotta love lemon
Go
cookies.
For the lemon
I will,
cookies.
yes.
What kind of prices are we talking about, girls? If people want to go to the cookie walk tomorrow, how much are we going to be spending on cookies?
Yeah, it's about $12 a pound for them. So around that is sort of
And also, this is for people of various modern technologies. Do you take cash, card? What are the ways of paying?
Yeah, we take both cash and credit card.
Great.
And so when you go to the cookie walk, you'll be provided a container. You fill it up with as many cookies as you want. They weigh it, and then it's $12 a pound.
As many cookies as you want? Challenge accepted. Can I bring a cardboard box?
No, they supply the containers. You cannot bring your own garbage can to fill up with cookies. It's not how it works. That's wonderful, though, that it's been so successful that usually by noon you guys are out of cookies. That speaks very highly to the community and the support that you have in the Waukesha area. That's fabulous.
Yeah, we're so grateful for everyone who shows out every year.
What kinds of activities do you do? Does the marching band, I would assume that you do various parades over the course of the year.
Yeah, so actually on Sunday, we'll be marching in the Waukesha Christmas Parade. And then in the spring, we typically do a Memorial Day Parade. Mm-hmm. Those are very fun.
Are there any other fundraising activities you do throughout the year? I understand the cookie walk is the thing, But is there anything else you do throughout the year that helps raise money for the Black Shirts band?
Our biggest fundraiser of the year actually isn't the Cookie Walk. It's March Fest, our marching band competition, where we host typically around 20 marching bands from both Wisconsin and Illinois. So that's a pretty big thing that happens in September.
Nice.
That is so much more complicated, I think, than people appreciate, right? The formate, when you're talking about that many bodies and getting them to march in various formations. I was color guard when I was in high school, and the pacing, if you have a line of 20 people and you're going to do a circle, it's a very precise thing that arm all moves at the same time, right? You guys must practice a lot.
Yeah. So over the summer we have like band camp that goes a lot, and then we have rehearsals throughout the week, all through the fall.
We are talking to two students at Waukesha South High School. Layla and Marcella is here. If you are joining us on Matenaer On Air, we're talking about the Cookie Walk that is happening tomorrow. It's at the Waukesha South Cafeteria. They tell you to park in the Tenney Avenue lot and then enter through the Fieldhouse doors. You're going to have lots of company. It starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But even on the press release I have here, it says shop early. The cookies sell out fast.
Especially the lemon cookies, folks.
Go for the lemon cookies before they're all gone.
Yeah. That is my old neighborhood, so I know exactly where that is, and I might go tomorrow and I'll get. I'm gonna.
Are you gonna go cookie?
I might. I've got things. I've got errands to run. I get myself some cookies. I'll treat myself.
Sue from Franklin texting in, listening on WAUK, says not to mention how impressive it is. They march while they play. My daughter was in the marching band. She played the flute. I was always amazed to see 100 plus students working and marching and playing together. Have you ever hit your tooth or tripped or something when you have your mouth on the mouthpiece?
I have one too many times whacked myself in the mouth.
I mean, I can barely walk a straight line, so I can't imagine.
Not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I have a hard time existing in the world as it is. I couldn't imagine trying to walk around people while trying to play an instrument that is not just, plunking on a guitar. So
it's impressive.
Absolutely. And I just want to let the two of you know and let everyone know on the listening that the link to the Facebook event page for the Cookie Walk will be in our show notes for today. You can go to civicmedia.us/shows, look for Matenaer On Air in the second hour, click through, or just search it on Facebook as well. But we want people to go out and not only support this, but if you can support other activities they're doing, because as we said before, the arts are important, as you both, Layla and Marcel, have said. It gives you it allows you to grow as human beings as well as students, and it's important that we fund those however we can.
Well, and it's just, as you said, too, I think there is a different creativity that your brain unlocks under different things. And you mentioned that you're very much a math student. That is very musical, but at the same time, playing music is unlocking an entirely different part of your brain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you come to the Cookie Walk tomorrow, you'll have the chance to see.
Are you going to perform?
So the jazz band will be performing. If you want to talk about that.
The jazz band is performing. We have Jazz 1 and Jazz 2, and Jazz 1 is included within the class during the day, and that's just those students there. And then Jazz 2 is the other students that still want to be a part of jazz band but can't make it during that time for the class. And so it gives them an opportunity to still be a part of it, even if it doesn't work with their schedules or whatever. And so we'll be having those two groups, and we'll be combining and doing our own things, and we'll be playing. It'll be fun.
That's really cool.
Fantastic. Can you give us a preview of any tunes you might be playing?
One of the songs we'll be playing is called Chili Pepper Christmas, and that one we have a little tradition where if you bring your kids to the Cookie Walk, they can play along with us in that song.
Like little percussion instruments, some shakers.
Awesome.
Are there
and
like
such.
bell? Oh, the bell thing where you can ring shake the bells.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm so there.
Jane, they said children. Jane, they said
Well, you could always join in.
See,
if I push this 7-year-old out of the way and grab his bells, what are they going to do to me?
You play the bells, I'm going to fill my garbage can full of cookies.
Cookies with all the
I'll
lemon
pay for them.
cookies.
I'm not saying I'm going to take them. I'm saying I'll pay for them. I'm just saying I want a competitive advantage.
And girls, just real quickly before we run out of time, what are your plans when you get out of high school? Do you intend to keep music as part of your life?
Absolutely. So I'm a senior. Next year, I'm planning to go to UW-Madison, where I do plan to audition for the marching band there.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Nice.
I mean, UW Marching Band is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And what about you?
Yeah, I'm a junior, and I mean, I'm not actually in marching band, so I don't know if I'll take any specifically like band sort of stuff in my future, but I know I'm obviously gonna keep like any type of music in my life, whatever it is that I'm doing. I'll make sure, like I'm gonna make sure to prioritize that. So I mean,
There you go.
joining any sort of activity that I can, that I have time for, like. Yeah.
Gonna keep it up. Good for
Good.
you.
Yeah.
Good.
Layla and Marcella with Waukesha South High School talking about the cookie walk that is happening tomorrow to support the Waukesha South Band. Thank you so much, girls. I hope it's a huge success tomorrow. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank
having
you.
us.
Take care. Stay with us. When we return, we'll wrap up the show with This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Baby Seal walks into a bar edition.
That's what it is.
I'm here to help.
That's all you need to say, too. You're
Lemon
listening
cookies.
to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Christmas trees and bells and stars. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe.
and welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our home at Radio Park in Racine, where you can join us. Call or text. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up next week on Monday.
Next week, Jane.
Next week, my last 5 shows.
Oh, boy. This is your penultimate week.
It is.
I love saying that word.
Penultimate?
Penultimate.
We'll have to work that in a couple times.
Oh, it's going to happen on Thursday.
All right. Aaron Kelly is going to be joining us. We talked to Aaron a couple weeks ago. After, of course, they passed that measure to reopen the government, they slipped in this little thing essentially outlawing all hemp products.
Yeah. That clean CR of theirs.
Yeah. Not so clean. Yes, Aaron Kelly owns Kelly's Greens in Wauwatosa, which sells CBD products and hemp products. And they were all the little businesses, and they're all over Wisconsin, taken aback by this and not pleasantly surprised by this. So we're going to talk to Aaron Kelly, find out what is happening now since this occurred a couple of weeks ago. I believe there are pretty much some grassroots efforts underway. Again, we have all kinds of these businesses all over Wisconsin that employ a whole bunch of people.
Well, there's a bipartisan effort to protect in Madison, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to an update from Aaron.
Aaron Kelly joining us on Monday in hour number 2 for an update for Audio Sorbet. All next week, we're going to have special guests. So Pete Schwaba, Night Lights host Pete Schwaba, is going to join us on Monday for a little Audio Sorbet.
There you go.
Right now, Calvin, it is time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
If you ever find a thing you think this should not be, send it in to Greg and me at Jane Says at civicmedia.us. JANESAYS. Jane Says at civicmedia.us. By the way, if you want to get in touch with me before I head out the door next Friday, use that same email address.
Yeah, do that.
And I will get back to you. We wanted to do a little update from yesterday's Tisbat.
Tisbat, an update.
An update. We talked about the guy who swallowed that $19,000 Fabergé egg.
So there was some confusion on my part because, as I've said before, I like to be completely surprised by the story. I thought it was a Fabergé octopus.
It is, but it's inside this egg.
So that makes the swallow ability much more understandable.
Less stabby?
Yes, less stabby, more smooth.
Perhaps.
More smooth.
It's still a pretty big egg.
Yeah.
So, this guy in New Zealand decided his brilliant crime would be to swallow this Fabergé egg. Yeah, he didn't get out the store until they nabbed him. Of course, they had to wait. This too shall pass.
Boo.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. And now he will be back in court on December 8th. According to charges seen by the BBC, he was also charged with stealing an iPad from the same jewelry store. Didn't swallow that.
I was going to say that was way hard. I mean, it wasn't even an iPad Mini. It was terrible.
And made away with cat litter and flea control products.
Where's the store? What a store is this?
No, this was from a different address. He was busy.
I was like,
he had a busy week. That was yesterday's update. Today, from the Associated Press, I love the headline. A seal galumps into a bar. Galumps. This is the Associated Press. A seal galumps into a bar. The bartender says, "Grab the salmon." In Wellington, New Zealand, a seal walked into a bar. The creature apparently lost. Curious and well below the drinking age, lodged itself under the bar's dishwasher and showed no interest in coming out.
I get it.
It was Sunday evening when the baby first seal waddled into this craft beer bar in New Zealand. It is a pet-friendly bar. The co-owner assumed the visitor was a dog until she took a closer look. Everyone was in shock. She says, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What's going on?" A patron grabbed a sweater, tried to usher the baby seal out the back door. Baby seal took off, dashed into the restroom, and then hid under the dishwasher. They unplugged it. Somebody ran home, got a dog crate. They finally got a pizza covered with salmon. They got a pizza out of the fridge, covered it with salmon, and then lured him out from under the dishwasher.
Come here, boy. We'll give you some salmon and cover pizza. It's very, very delicious. At least it wasn't one of those huge bugs. The bugs in New Zealand are disgusting.
Disgusting.
Oh, my God. They're otherworldly. Science does not invent this. This is godless creation.
Once they lured the seal out with the salmon pizza, they had to wait briefly for conservation rangers to arrive. This was their fourth call of the day. They'd been driving around this subdivision trying to find the baby seal.
Oh, well, I'm glad that it's...
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
The seal has been released on a nearby island, considered a safe location because it is a dog-free island. They say it's not unusual for curious baby seals to show up in unexpected places.
And a seal, if you don't already know, has permanent sad dog eyes. So no matter what mood it's in, it's going to look really sad. So yeah, I'm just imagining, oh my God, I'd be like, protect it at all costs.
Give it whatever it wants.
Yeah, exactly.
The restaurant owner now says, running joke, we now have the seal of approval. But I'm pumped.
That's a really good joke there, mate. I love it. I like it. It's a funny, funny joke.
That wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Thank you, Greg and Calvin, and all of our engineers and everyone at Civic Media, because without you, nothing works.
One more week.
And thank you most of all for calling and texting and watching on the live stream and for listening. It means everything. I hope you find some joy today over the weekend and you get the chance to share it. Keep it right here. News is coming up next. Tom Hartman will have the next keyword for you for our contest that's on the way. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday on the Civic Media Radio Network.